I have another shadow of a planet with there's no other clouds around except one that's joining in, but that is a round object. It's right there. It's too bad that one
Good morning, everybody.
cloud is
This is Steve
covering it.
Olson. It's November 8th. Took a day off yesterday just to kind of soak up and do some research. This is part 3 of our series, Truth is a Radical Act. And I need you to think about it. So what we're talking about in this series is that in the time of a great deception, which now is absolutely one of those times, telling the truth is a radical act. And it's very clear to us and to many people who have been studying this that a solar system, a separate rogue binary solar system with our own sun, has been approaching. And it's been coming close for a long time. It's been on its way. We also know that there's an artificial light system in operation that hides the system. In other words, the government uses a combination of chemtrails and other optics tools to hide what's up in the sky so astronomers, amateur astronomers, can't see or observe these things. The next thing that we prove I think we prove on this channel every day, that people are getting photographs from all over the world. And these are not lens flare type weird, stupid photographs. We're getting some pretty amazing stuff. Just stay with our channel for a little while. You'll find out. So today's discussion is about how Earth is changing in radical ways. So one of the things that we hear all the time from our critics is, well, if there was some kind of a solar system or something approaching the Earth, wouldn't the Earth go crazy bonkers? Well, let me put it to you this way. The Earth in the last 10 years is going bonkers. That's the big secret, right? They don't tell us when all these things are happening, and they definitely don't tell us what the big story is. But let me show you a couple things just to prove what I'm talking about. Here's an example of a photograph that we saw in March and over the last couple of months, where we're actually seeing that the planets are, like Jupiter and other planets, are starting to be affected in kind of some amazing ways. They're heating up. They're having phenomenon like this that we haven't seen before, which is an aurora borealis on the northern hemisphere of Jupiter. All very unusual stuff. We look at fireballs. This is the evidence of debris around a system or debris coming towards us. And I mean, it goes without saying that the fireballs have increased. And in fact, you're probably seeing them over your own house. I don't have to talk about earthquakes, do I really? I mean, earthquakes have increased in increasing, over the last 5 to 6 years. It's just been an exponential increase in earthquakes and their severity. In fact, they had to change the Richter scale, and instead of like it used to be that, let's just say 7 was a very severe earthquake, well, they backed all the numbers down about a couple of years ago, so that what used to be a 7 now is a 6. So that's why that 6 in Italy did so much damage. You'd say, well, we've seen 6s in other places without damage, but yeah, that's what's happening. The intensity of these events are increasing, and they had to change the Richter scale, in fact. Now look at this line as it goes across. You can see that it indicates, in my opinion, the approach of the system. As it gets closer, earthquakes increase. Let's not even, this is, I know, a very busy chart, okay? But what it's basically showing is 0, this is the North Pole, and what this is the magnetic north. And what it's showing since 2013 is that it's been slowly moving away from 0. To where we're here right now, where they had to expand the graph out because it's so far off 0 tilt. Again, this is an indication of something with magnetic pull coming towards us. You don't get changes in your magnetic magnetosphere unless there's an outside force acting on it. It's just the way thermodynamics work. And I know I'm getting sciencey here, but just to say that the Earth is going to flip over because it's some kind of a natural cycle is bull. Something is affecting it from the outside, and we think it's the solar system. And then we have the mainstream media. They made several lame attempts to try to discuss this this wobbling that's going on with the Earth. And you know what they said? It's because all the Earth, because all the water on the Earth is shifting down to the bottom of the Earth. It's just such a ridiculous explanation. But you can see that they're grasping at straws trying to explain it. And then finally, and I know this has been a lot of science-oriented information, not a lot of pictures of planets and stuff, but I want you to see that we watch this science. The thing that we really got concerned about was on 423 and then again in October was this thing called a magnetopause reversal. And what that basically means is normally the flow of pressure goes over the Earth in a very consistent direction, right to left in this graph. And what we've been seeing is something is pushing from left to right, which indicates another object or potentially a star. So what we can see is it's almost like the frog in the water. I don't know if you've ever heard that metaphor before, but if you put a frog in the water and you slowly increase the temperature, you can actually boil the frog without it jumping out of the pan. And I think that when you say that you're waiting for some kind of cataclysmic earth changes, they are happening, but it doesn't happen overnight. It happens in a gradual way. And that's why every little bit that it increases, it doesn't really freak anybody out. But if it would have increased, if the effects would have increased from 2011 till now, if we were just looking at 2011 till now and we were just being objective, I think we'd all agree that yes, our solar system is definitely being affected by an outside force. The Earth is definitely being affected by an outside force, and we think that that's a solar system. So in conclusion, this is literally the biggest cover-up in history, and I'm going to say this on every one of my truth series, but please listen to me. A story no one was going to touch after 2012 because what they did was they trashed everybody that tried to put the truth out in 2011. It's just the way it is. They filter content based on demographics. I mean, we're working on getting around that stuff. But if we were set loose, man, I think people are interested in this. We wouldn't need to do any fundraising. And that's why we raise funds, and that's why we need your donations, because without it, we can't operate at the level we're operating. Deception and misinformation is rampant, and then we've got, Christian channels at each other's throats. That's all on purpose. So if you don't understand that this is a spiritual journey, and this is really a safe place for primarily Christians, because they have no place to ask questions about aliens or any of that kind of stuff hardly, so they come here to get that information. But anybody that wants to come here that knows peace is welcome. It's a safe place for people that know peace. And then together we're going to rise, Christian and non-Christian. We're going to rise together as we learn more together. And let me honestly just tell you straight up, nobody is getting rich. You allow me to do this full-time against the odds. Your donations are needed and appreciated, and we're going to continue to grow this ministry. We have a next part, and then our final part, what we're going to do in part 5, is we're going to actually show you how we've re-geared the ministry to go forward for this last little period of time I think that we have on this earth.